want to sit down, it's up to you. There's quite a few seats together at the front of the boat. Now the name of this boat we're on today, Millennium of Peace, and it is licensed to carry up to a number of people. We've got life-saving equipment, got life jackets at the front, we've got life rafts on the outer roof. Myself and my friend at the wheel, we are Thames watermen. We serve an apprenticeship for 5 years to become freemen of this river, so captains. So you're in very safe hands. I've actually worked on this very boat for 12 years. I know the boat very well, the river very well, just like my friend does. And along the way, we like to do a commentary. There was people asking me if there'd be a commentary along the way. Well, we're not tour guides, and we're not multilingual. It just comes in English, I'm afraid. But I've learned if I speak slowly enough, usually people do understand me. And I'm pretty sure that most of you do understand me on the boat today. So just a show of hands, please, if you'd be interested in a little commentary along the way. So that's nearly everybody, except for you two gentlemen. Where are you from? Italiano. Well, there are headsets in the saloon, which does different languages if you don't understand me. But then again, if you don't understand me, you wouldn't have understood what I just said. So we have got Italiano in the saloon headsets. So we'll try our best, and we'll start off on the right, the London Eye. They built it across the river and it was lifted up. For the year 2000, there are 32 glass pods, there are 32 boroughs of London, and you can see all of them at the top on a clear day. 25 people every pod, and it has become Europe's #1 tourist attraction. And it's going to cost you £25 to go on the river. When it first opened 17 years ago, it was only £5 a ticket. And it was only meant to be here for 2 years. They was going to take it down and take it all over the country for the millennium. But one reason stopped it from being moved. Does anybody know what that reason was?
Earning too much money.
Correct. It was earning too much money. They reckon every half an hour it goes around now, it earns £250,000. That's serious money there. That's a lot of money there. Now look to your left. The Golden Eagle on the wall. The Royal Air Force War Memorial. The airmen and women that lost their lives in the 2 world wars. And just behind it, the Ministry of Defence building, the MOD. That is the Army, the Navy and the Royal Air Force. And there's a ship in the river to your left. The Tattershall Castle, a floating bar and a restaurant. But she used to be a day cruiser on the River Humber up near Yorkshire. It's a lovely boat, a nice place to go for a couple of drinks. And the bridge ahead of us, Charing Cross Railway. The station, it's away to your left. The West End, Charing Cross Station. Behind the station, Trafalgar Square, Soho, Chinatown. It's all away to your left at the West End. And this is South London on the right, south of the river. There's also a footbridge. It's the first bridge we go beneath. It's said to be very lucky if you wave at someone and they wave back at you. They reckon 5 years of good luck. So you make sure you wave, that's it. Oh, brilliant, eh? What a great start to the journey. 5 years of good luck. Now there's also another footbridge. So go on, you give those people a wave as well. Wave to the people. And if they wave back at you, 5 years of bad luck. No, I'm only joking. It's 7 years. On the right, the Royal Festival Hall has amazing acoustics inside that building. Some of the world's greatest have performed in there, including Pavarotti, who has since sadly passed away. Michael Jackson, who has since sadly passed away. Frank Sinatra, who has since sadly passed away. And Whitney Houston, who has since sadly passed away. So we're just waiting now for the Justin Bieber concert. Can't come soon enough. To your left, the stone obelisk, Cleopatra's Needle, over 3,000 years old. Made in Egypt, made in pairs. The other one in America, New York City, Central Park. And the Savoy Hotel on the left, it's got a green tiled roof. The very luxurious Savoy Hotel. Waterloo Bridge, built by women in the Second World War. A shortage of manpower, they was away fighting. The girls built the bridge. They faced it in Portland stone. When it rains, it gets a wash, nice and clean. But look underneath, very dirty, where the rain doesn't penetrate. So they built in the Second World War by women, the ladies' bridge. Now to your left, Somerset House. It used to be a residence for the royal family. It's also where they used to keep all of our birth, death and marriage certificates in Great Britain. It had a nickname, the Hatcham, Matcham and Dispatcham departments. You could now add Catcham, the Inland Revenue, are based in that building. Those lovely people, the old taxman. And on the right, the National Theatre. It's got the flashing display. Voted London's ugliest looking building. Yes, I'm sure we can all agree. Even Prince Charles, he describes it as a nuclear power station. He said it's the ugliest thing he's ever seen in his life. And I mean, that is quite a statement, isn't it? Coming from Charlie. I mean, he knows a thing or two about ugly, doesn't he? Buildings, ladies and gentlemen. Also on the right, the tall office building, ITV. The local offices for the television station. The studios are just behind the trees there. X Factor, Pop Idol, Britain's Got Talent, a very famous morning chat show. They film it on the right, Studio 8, home of This Morning with Phil and Holly. Also in London, we do have a beach. You may not have realised this, but look on the right, London's finest, golden, almost tropical-like foreshore. Very popular on our hot summer days. As you can see, look, you can sunbathe, have a picnic, let the children paddle in the polluted river. So it's London's finest beach. Are there many passengers from Australia and Canada on the boat? Well, quite famous in those countries as well is the Oxo Cube. On the right is where they made Oxo, the stock cube gravy years ago. Not anymore, they now make it up north in Lancashire, but this is where they made it, and it's now flats and apartments worth millions of pounds. On the roof of that building is a lovely restaurant, the Glass Canopy Harvey Nichols. Now the tide is coming towards us. From the North Sea, the tide is flooding. The average high water mark, look on the river's wall, that's about 7 metres rise and fall. They put faces of lions on the river's wall as a flood warning. So years ago, if the water level got too high, if it got to the mouth of the lion, they could send out a flood warning. And in London, there's a rhyme. If the lions are drinking, then London is sinking. And if the heads are ducked, then London's flooded. Of course. I knew some of you would get it. On the left, with the arched windows and the sloping roof, the old City of London School for Boys. Not a school today, an American bank, JP Morgan. And on the right, a new apartment block. 2-bedroomed apartments at the top, £10 million. It's a very religious area here, Blackfriars. Very religious. There was a murder, you might have heard of it, sir. An Italian was murdered in London, and they left him on a rope hanging under the middle part of this bridge. Seriously, it's unsolved to this day. 30 years ago, an Italian, Roberto Calvi, he was nicknamed God's banker. He handled money for the Vatican. He laundered money. So he laundered money for the mafia, the mafiosi. And he was murdered, and he was found left dangling under the bridge. So are you familiar with that story? Roberto Calvi, God's banker, murdered in London. Very sad story that was. On the right, with a tall chimney, used to be a power station. This is now the new Tate Modern, the largest modern art gallery in the world, and it doesn't cost anything to go there. It is free, completely free to go to that building. Now, once you've been inside that building, once you've had a good look around in there, you'll probably start to realise why it's free. Unless you like modern art, and then you'll be really happy. Does anybody like it? It's 2 people on the entire boat. To your left, St Paul's Cathedral. It took 35 years to build. 11 of those years were built constructing the dome, 11 years to build. Europe's second largest dome. The biggest, St Peter's, the Vatican. But look on top of our dome, people can walk around the top, a viewing area. But to get to the top, a staircase, 500 steps to the top. And Harry Potter, he flies underneath this bridge on a broomstick in the Harry Potter movie. They opened that bridge in the year 2000, Millennium Footbridge. And to your right, ladies and gentlemen, William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, the replica. They opened it 20 years ago. There is no cover to the roof, it's open to the elements. Between April and October, every single day, there's a play performed in that building. There's one yesterday, bank holiday, one today, one tomorrow. The capacity, 2,000 people. 400 of those people are standing tickets. And if you're willing to stand during performance, it's very cheap. Unbelievably cheap, in fact. It's only £5 a ticket to watch a play. Now that is very cheap, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, you come all the way to London, live entertainment for only £5. So I'm sure you'd agree that is very, very cheap. And are we all enjoying the live commentary, ladies and gentlemen? Brilliant. So we're just your crew here, remember? But we like to do this for you, an old tradition, you see. Now this bridge is Southwark. Underneath the bridge, look to your left, the barge with grey containers. They get loaded here with rubbish. Along the river, many rubbish depots, taken away all the garbage. Where they take it to, a place ahead of us, about 10 miles away, a place called Essex, and that is where we dump London's garbage, on the marshy wetland in Essex. And on the right, the pub, the Anchor, well over 400 years old. They do lovely food in there. And just behind the pub, the Borough Market. It runs ahead of us on the right, the Borough Market. It's very nice. Cannon Street, the station in the city on the left. If you visit the Borough Market, the food is beautiful, the flowers. And of an evening, little bars and restaurants, very popular, the Borough Market. These warehouses are now apartments, so people live here. They've made some lovely conversions of these old warehouses. And you see the pirate ship, the working replica of the Golden Hind, Sir Francis Drake ship. You can take the children on there, they dress them up as pirates, let them run around for a couple of hours, they have a lot of fun. Next door, there's a pub, the old Thames side inn. Mum and Dad, they can wait in the pub and run around and have a lot of fun for a couple of hours. So we call it a traditional family day out in London. And there's Southwark Cathedral, ladies and gentlemen. So just behind the cathedral again is the Borough Market. Just off the bridge, turn right, that's a nice market. London Bridge, the 5th London Bridge in 2,000 years. This is where the Romans built a bridge, but they opened our new bridge 1973. The one before this, they've rebuilt it in America. It was sinking in the 60s. We took it down, sold it for $2 million. It was shipped over to America and rebuilt, and it's still there today. Does anybody know where? Yes, my lady. Lake Havasu, correct, in the Arizona desert. Not many people know that story. It's they rebuilt in the desert. The man who bought that bridge, he never came to London to see it. Rumour has it, he thought he was buying the other London Bridge, which of course is Tower Bridge. They reckon he bought the wrong bridge, and he wasn't too happy when it turned up on a ship in America. You could only imagine his face, when he opened the box and he realised he bought the wrong bridge. I mean, what, $2 million for that bridge? And no chance, not even back in the 60s. It's priceless. Now look up on the right, a shard of glass, over 1,000 feet. There are offices, there's a hotel in the middle, Shangri-La, and there's a viewing level near the top. Designed by an Italian, a very famous Italian architect, Lorenzo Piano, and he designed it. They never paid him for the design. They gave him an apartment near the top. There are 10 of them, but he sold it about 2 years ago for nearly £30 million. Unbelievable, eh? Now we're going to have to stay out the way here, because coming through the bridge, my friend tells me, is a tug and tow. Now I used to work on the tugs, and they tow those barges that take away the rubbish. And they're coming into London with the tide. They cannot stop. They can't just stop, there's no brakes. And you've also got the tide pushing behind you. The only way the tugs can stop is by turning around and facing the tide. And we do not want to get in their way. There's no space ahead of us with the warship, but look, with this other boat here, we don't want to get in the way and cause an accident, but that would be terrible, wouldn't it, eh? Crashing into a tug. So we've got loads of children on the boat, passengers, safety first, ladies and gentlemen. So we have to wait here. But that's good though, because look up on the right, you see that flag, the Union Jack. The only Union Jack you'll see today. Did you see that flagpole? Look on top of it, there's a crown. So that is called a jackstaff, Union Jack. See the flag anywhere else, it's only a Union flag. So I promise you, that is the only Union Jack you'll see today. The HMS Belfast, built in Belfast at Northern Ireland, where they also built the Titanic. Saw lots of action in the Second World War. She's open to the public, a museum. You will have a great time on board this ship. I mean, just look at the enjoyment on that lady's face, look. Oh, she's having a time of her life. She thought she was coming to London to go shopping. And look, she's ended up on a warship. Gentlemen, take your girlfriend on there for the day, and they will be very happy with you, I'm sure. Now, I'm only joking, just a bit of banter. Now, it is very interesting. You can go up to the wheelhouse, go down to the engine rooms, and say she saw a lot of action in the war. Now imagine we'd have come out into the channel and we couldn't have steered back in time and that tug come whacking into us. With all you lovely people. I'd have lost, and my friend, we'd have lost our licence for life. I used to work on there, and they're towing through. You can see the weights on the rope. The tug can stop. The way you make a boat stop is by coming backwards on the engine. But those barges don't stop. They keep flowing with the tide. The only way to stop him, when he gets to Battersea where he's going, he'll have to turn and then face the tide like we are. We can stop easy because we've got the tide coming at us. Let's give the people a wave up there, look. Look, brilliant, eh? It doesn't matter where you go in the world, if you're on a boat and you wave to somebody, that they wave back at you. It don't happen, it don't have the same effect driving your car around London, does it? Waving at people, bibbing, they think you're mad. But on a boat, people, they love to wave at you. Now, look ahead of us, look, there's a lovely boat there. Look, we ain't got much room, have we? I mean, we could squeeze through there, possibly, but it's not worth it, is it? It really isn't. I mean, in the river there's quite a bit of rubbish. You get boats from other boats, and if that goes around your propeller, you lose your engine, and then you're just drifting. Safety first. I've worked on these tugs, and they have priority. You get in their way, and they make a lot of noise, screaming and shouting at you. I used to do it myself. So we keep out of their way, because they've got a lot of weight behind them. All this will be later filled up with rubbish. All of London's garbage. There are many rubbish barges down the river every day. Now this beautiful boat, it's called the Hampshire. The Hampshire, it's an area in England, Hampshire, and the man who owns it, he's from Manchester. I don't know who he is, but say it's going to be leaving today. This boat has been here for 4 days. Beautiful, isn't it? Well looked after. Let's give the little girl a wave. And it's going to be leaving at 5:45. No, sorry. We'll confirm this with you. You're right there. 6:45. So if you're going to be around this area, that boat will move around, turn at about 6:30, and it'll just sit here waiting for that bridge to open. 6:45. He's obviously a millionaire, isn't he? Because that boat is worth about £100 million. And he's going to be getting that bridge opened during rush hour of London. All those poor Londoners that want to go home, so they won't be able to, they'll have to wait for that boat to go through. But, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't cost anything. You'd think you'd pay a lot of money, it's free. If you own a boat big enough and you've given 24 hours notice, they will open the bridge for free. That is a long time. I mean, that's nearly a whole day, isn't it? 24 hours. And say that they'll open it then for free, but you have to give a day's notice. We have got priority on the use of the bridge, and then we can use it over road traffic. Okay, mate, sit down. And it used to open every day, about 20 times a day. You could only imagine how much shipping came in and went back out, a lot of cargo in, but it all finished in the 80s. No more shipping now. It used to open every day about 20 times. And as the ships came in, people walked over the top. But now, if it opens, you have to wait for the bridge to lift and then close again before you can continue. You imagine their faces when this happens in the middle of January and it's raining, freezing cold, and they stop the bridge. All those office workers going home, they have to stand and wait there in the rain, waiting for this bridge to go up and down. There you go. They've turned the top into a museum. So if was anybody going up there at all? For some of you, I know I've got tickets for this. You go up the top, look at the middle, there's glass on the floor. Try to be up there when the bridge opens. You look down through and you'll see the bridge open beneath you. Beautiful, isn't it? Especially of a night time when it's all lit up. What a beautiful bridge. There's actually only one day of the year they do not open that bridge. One particular day. Does anybody know what day that could be? Yeah, it's not Christmas Day. No. It can open Christmas Day for cruise liners. People say the Queen's birthday, it opens on her birthday. Oh, you'll kick yourself when I tell you. London Marathon Day. Because all those runners run across that bridge throughout the whole day. And it wouldn't be very fair, would it, to start opening that bridge with all those runners crossing it. Although I've always thought it might make it a little bit more exciting if they opened it just a little bit. Just a little jump for them, a little obstacle for the race. So they will not open it at all, London Marathon Day. I mean, that marathon is run by lots of people. Even, as you know, a lot of disabled people run it. You do the race. One of those people was a former boxer, Michael Watson, who got very injured in a boxing fight with Chris Eubank. It took him a week to do that marathon. And so from early hours till late in the evening, you'll see people running over that bridge marathon day. Now you look on the right, folks, the Tower of London, the castle. They built it for William the Conqueror nearly 1,000 years ago. Most famously, we know it as a place of torture and execution. Just look on the river wall, Traitor's Gate, and it's where they took all the traitors to be executed years ago. The most common form of execution, beheading with a large blunt axe. Very famous people went through there, including Anne Boleyn, Lady Jane Grey, Guy Fawkes and William Wallace. Braveheart. He went through there to be hung, drawn and quartered. And that is what they've done with traitors in this country years ago. Of course, we don't do that here anymore. That stopped a long time ago. We now have other ways of punishing traitors in this country. Things like community service, rehabilitation. So they send you to a place called holiday camp. They give you a bed, 3 meals a day, free gym membership, a PlayStation, and then when you come out of there, you're a new person. That's brilliant. Bit of holiday camp. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? Folks, we're going to go in for the pier now. Very, very important that we get you off this boat safely. So please stay where you are, hold on, or remain seated as we berth, and then we can all get off safely. If you all get up and then everyone else rushes off and we bump, you might fall over and then you'll have an accident. On the right in the distance, there's the underground station, Tower Hill. There's a bus stop for bus tours. There are boats from here going back to Westminster every 15 minutes until 7 o'clock. So if you want to go back to Westminster now, you have to get off the boat. You change boat. If you're going to stay on this boat, you're going to go to Greenwich. That's our next stop. It takes half an hour to go down to Greenwich to get there. I really hope you've all enjoyed the journey coming down the river. So we've got you down here safely. That's our job as watermen. But I also hope you've enjoyed the little commentary, because we like to do a little bit of info for you, because nobody knows the river better than us. Our families have worked on this river for centuries. Apprenticed by your dad, it goes back many years, to be a Thames waterman. I say, I really do sincerely hope that my commentary has added to your journey coming down the river. Please, don't stop. Very nice of you, that. So, but we do this all year round. You could imagine in January, it's not so busy. We might only have about 10 people on the boat, if that. But this time of year, it's quite nice to get some lovely people on and tell you about our river. And we do it voluntary, of course, so it's not our job, but we like to do it. We have a tradition. We leave our captain's bucket by the exit. So when you step off the boat, if you'd like to, maybe drop a few bob in the captain's bucket, then that would be mostly appreciated. by the crew. Of course, if you don't understand what a few bob is, we also accept Visa card, American Express, the pound note as well in our bucket. You've been a lovely audience, I mean that. Thanks for listening, and most of all, thank you for coming out on the river today. Enjoy London. Be lucky. Thank you. Thanks everyone.